Hi guys, what's going on? This is Cool Toys. And what I have here on my table today are some baggies of G.I. Joes and Cobras that I put in bags to remind me that they still need to be fixed. What I'm talking about is the O-rings and sometimes the actual screws that go into the G.I. Joe's back. The back screws, they rust out. A lot of these are my original G.I. Joes and Cobras from when I was a kid, and I used to play with them outside in mud puddles and things like that, and in the rain. So, of course, over the years, and let's not forget about bathtub time. You know what I mean? Bringing the Joes in the tub, and especially the ones that are like for the water, and they would get wet and rust. And now 30 some years later or more, the screws have rusted. I need to replace them, and the O-rings, they deteriorate and they need to be replaced also. And also, I have a baggie of weapons that I still need to assign to the correct Cobras and GI Joes. So, do you guys do this also? Put them in bags. That was the year I actually put them in there or started doing this by baggie. Listed with my GI Joe. So in this Ziploc bag are just the good guys, the GI Joes, and in this Ziploc bag are my Cobras. So Cobras in this bag. That way I can just have them separated. I'll pause the video, take some of these out, and show you what I'm talking about. Here's out of the GI Joe bag. I even separated some of them in other Ziploc bags just to keep your pieces together. You can really, so you can tell them apart. We got good old Quick Kick in there. And I forget this dude's name. He was like, came with the parachute. Crazy Legs or something like that. Whatever. You guys put in the comments. And Quick Kick's feet are kind of, tore up. The paint has come off the toes, if you can tell inside this bag here. Maybe you can't. But I may even repaint that because it's pretty well worn off, the paint. And in the legs also, there are screws. They are rusted out. Let me take it out of this bag. All right, Quick Kick here. I can't find this pelvis piece right now, front and back. But these legs, sorry, the lighting's not that great, but you can tell the paint has worn off a lot and needs to be touched up. And the screw is really rusted. I know you could probably remove the screws and put them in some kind of like chemical bath that would maybe take away the rust and bring back the original metal. May do that, but sometimes it's easier just put new screws in it. I may take a whole bunch of the vintage screws and do that chemical bath with all the old ones and then put them back in the original figures that it came with. But for now, I may just put in the replica screws. And of course, the O-ring, if you just saw that or not, right on the little hook piece, this is the remaining amount of the rubber that's left. Of course, it's much bigger O-ring, rubber O-ring, but the rubber just shrinks and degrades and snaps and comes apart, and then your Joes fall apart. They become real loose and bend, and then before you know it, they completely separate. So that's the only downfall, excuse me, that I see with the O-ring figures, is that eventually the rubber O-rings over many years will deteriorate and fall apart, and then your Joes will be basically left like this. When you have your modern GI Joes, they're all made from one single piece of plastic. Stand by. So here's your Tunnel Rat from like the Rise of Cobra line or the 50th anniversary line. They do not, as far as I'm aware of, have any kind of O-rings. They're just all connected plastic through screws, nice shiny screws. I haven't taken any of these newer guys and put them in any kind of water or bath or anything like that. I'm not taking my toys into the bath as an adult. That was only when I was a kid. But if you did want to set up some dioramas outside, and the ground was moist or wet, maybe these screws would start to rust, but at least you do not have to worry about the O-ring problem and having that fall apart over the years. So that is the advantage. I do like my modern figures of 3 3/4 or 4-inch figures, and the original vintage 3 3/4 action figures. You can't really beat the nostalgia of these older guys, older Joes. Head sculpts are pretty good. Even, especially the vintage, or I'm sorry, the new modern ones. I do like them a lot. So anyway, that was my take on that. I've been on vacation doing a few things. That's why I haven't made any videos. Hopefully I'll get into making at least one video per weekend or come by Mondays. We'll see. I would like to do more. Maybe I will. So all depends what's happening in real life. So please be patient. Continue to send your comments. Subscribe so you do know when I do release a new video, you'll be notified. That's the best way to do it. Subscribe to my channel. You'll get the notification. It's free, doesn't cost you a penny, helps me out. Channel grows, then I can do bigger and better things. I really want to do some more of my customizations and my vehicles and things like that. And like I was saying, doing like the customizations and touch jobs with my paints on my vintage figures. So y'all take it easy. Take care. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe. This was Cool Toys. Later.